All right, we're gonna move on to the movie. You saw this last night. We're going to Arcadian. This is the next two movies. Ironically, I saw. Not ironically, I saw it. Arcadian and Sasquatch Sunset on the same day at South by Southwest. This movie is a little more fresher in Paulie's mind than mine, but the impact is there. I absolutely love this movie. Nicolas Cage plays a father of two sons. When they were babies, the aliens took over. We moved about 15, 16 years later, and Nicolas Cage and his two sons are living on a farm. And during the day, they can go about their business. What they have to do, though, is during the day is get food and prepare for the night. And at night, the aliens come out and try to eat people. And so they have to board up their homes and at night, just wait out the danger. And so the first scene we see is our first major action we see is that first night. Now their young son, I don't know why I don't have this up here. The youngest son has fallen in love with a girl at the farm nearby. The two boys go out to get supplies. The one son runs off to be with the girl. Nicolas Cage warns them to get back in time, and that one son doesn't come back in time, and Nicolas Cage has to go out and rescue his son. And I say that all happens within the first act because the movie is much bigger than this. And during that time, Nicolas Cage gets injured, and now it's up to the sons to nurse their father back to health and to stave off the alien invasion, which has taken a new turn, which is the second and third act. Paulie, yeah.
Yep.
Paulie, what did you think of Arcadian?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Great film.
All right.
I'm very surprised.
Elaborate on that.
I am. I'm trying to first. I'm trying to get my neck over there. I was totally surprised. I thought it was going to be, pretty bad. It's not because I don't love Nick. I just know Nick has been, just been taking them paychecks. I'll respect. This was just like, wow, what a great premise. First, it's a great premise. Then it's like, sons and their father, and we in the post-apocalypse of the, these monster-eating world, whatever it is, that they're still young men, searching for a little meaning of who they are. And Nick's just trying to hold it down, as well as, fight them monsters. Monsters are always like that allegory for what's going on with our society, and here it's like, what's going on with this family unit? Man, I really, really dug it. And of course, Nick is not in it as much as you think, but when he is,
yeah, this is not a cameo situation though. But
it's not a cameo. No,
it is
you're
about
right.
The boys, especially in that second and third act.
Right. But and what makes it, I do have one complaint, but I will get to it later. But what makes this great is the two kid actors, young actors. The acting's top notch. The situations, the relationships with each other, the filmmaking. I can't. What was the other one that was like this? That gave me the look and feel of this. Like this could complement that.
Are you talking about Quiet Place, or that's what I've seen people compare this to?
This one is this one's definitely a little more less flashy, I would say. But listen, yeah. So I dug it, and these creepers, man. The monsters really were done well, and they even had a little personality to them. I love the dog.
Yeah. So let's say this: if you are a member of the Film Threat channel, if you go to the member tab, we have the Q&A of this movie Arcadian from South by Southwest in there. Nicolas Cage talks a lot about this movie. He was on board with this movie almost from the very beginning, and he calls it the combination of his two loves, science fiction and horror. It's a sci-fi horror. The big thing that stuck out to me is this movie stands out from all other movies for this main reason. It's about a father teaching his two sons to survive. There's a moment in the beginning of the movie where they're at the dinner table. You may have seen it in the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
But the two boys get into a stupid teenage boy argument to the point where one of the boys slaps the other. And Nick Cage, as the father, tells him to stop, that there are more important things in life and that there's family. And then he declares, I am a man. He takes his fork and jams it in the table. And he tells his two sons, you say it too, I'm a man. And they all jam the fork into the table. Yes, this movie reeks of masculinity.
But the second son, he misses he jams it, but it doesn't go in, which I thought was a nice little touch. Yeah. But to add to that, these two boys, the two sons couldn't be more different than each other. Like one's like a very hands-on practical kid, tinkering with engines. I mean, he gets this thing up and running. The other one is his brother calls him a very selfish, arrogant guy. And he wants to be with the girl, and he often does kind of like think about himself. It's not that he doesn't love his brother or or Nick, but yeah, great conflict, very human. And then you got, we gotta make sure we're safe from these monsters.
Yeah. And the other thing is let's talk about the practical son. This is clear. This could start a series. I don't know if it will, but there definitely could be a sequel after this. Let's just say he's trying to figure it out. There's got to be a weakness to these creatures, and he goes through some extraordinary lengths to do that. And I will say that those extraordinary lengths, this is one of those movies you have to see in a crowd. You have to see with other people, because there are creepy monster things that happen, and to have that communal experience together. This is what horror films were made for. Let me bring up one comment here from President Jesus. Hello, President Jesus, or Jesus. What do the monsters look like? We can't talk about what the monsters look like, but what did you think of the monsters?
How do the monsters look? To me, they were like, you don't want to give details?
Not too much.
Okay. They're like a cross between like a hairy, like a werewolf and a spider. And I thought it was very original. I thought it was cool. There's other things I'm leaving out, which were like disturbing how they do their thing, but that was good for the film.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, what happens in this movie that sets it apart from others is that the tactics of the monsters evolve in the movie. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
And that the feeling of safety that they go through evaporates quickly. And that's the beauty of this movie, is that the fun of this movie is watching it for the first time, because you don't know what's happening next. Things you think that would happen because it happens in all horror films doesn't happen necessarily. And again, the fun of this movie is watching it for the first time, because you can't see something first more than once.
Yeah. Which is kind of my only little problem with it, is that Nick and the boys got what was going on with these monsters, and kind of how they're evolving, and in a sense they too were had to quickly improvise as well. The farm, who and what were the people on the farm? So that's, I don't know how far I want to get into that, but I had a problem with the men at the farm. These guys were douchebags, they're idiots. So I wanted to get your opinion on that, Alan.
The farm. Gosh. To me, that was probably the most stereotypical part of the movie. You kind of have to go there. But it really brings to light this idea of what would you do during an alien invasion, and how much would you protect? how much would you embrace other people in your community versus protecting you and your family? And I think that's what was set up there, is that we're there to the most important thing to me is me and my boys, and to bring on newcomers, to bring on people who have not been putting the effort in to protect themselves. I believe that's kind of this tension that goes on between that world and the outside world.
I don't know, man. So can I give a plot detail?
Sure.
So Nick gets hurt, and the sons don't have medicine, but they're like, let's take him to the farm, and they got medicine. I'll help him out. And they do the lockdown. They close the gate. Oh, what do you want? Like, oh, he's my father's hurt, whatever. And they deny, fully knowing who Nick Cage is, knowing who the boys are. Like, we have to keep medicine to ourselves. And even the girlfriend's like, what are you talking about? So we didn't really get more of that. But to me, it's like, oh, okay, well, they got their little ecology, whatever you call it, ecosystem in check, their little society in check. They got they got their own cool kind of that. And that reminded me of, like, when The Walking Dead, some of the different, places that had their stuff on lockdown. But they were horrible in their defense against the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, they got wiped.
Yeah.
So that was my little problem with that.
Well, I think that speaks to the, as I call it, the evolution of the monsters, and because you have to see the movie. But I will say I wasn't as bothered by it.
Okay, I mean, I was still entertained, guys.